So Isaac, if you don't mind, I just like to start and then maybe ask you your plan for today. I'm Doug Brunke, by the way. I'm founder and CEO of Global Chamber. We're very happy to feature Isaac today. He is a very unique leader. He's working with some special people all over the world, and I think you'll find his approach refreshing, sometimes maybe disarming. And sometimes we need the stick to the head to wake us up from patterns that we're in to be able to get to the next level. And I would categorize Isaac as one of those people that shakes things up, and that's often a good thing. Isaac, what is your plan today over the next hour? Could you let us know a little bit about, is it a presentation? Is it Q&A? What would you like to do?
I hate presentation, especially when I don't see the people. I see you on the screen, but there's not really interaction because 70% of our interaction is nonverbal. So if I have to interact with my screen, it's not the best idea. This is number one. Number two is we are going to touch here today an issue that everybody knows about, but people are overestimating, underestimating, have fears. It's more the emotional side that doesn't work. So what I suggest is to listen to people. I'll start with asking a question, and let's see the reaction of people, and then start to dig a little bit deeper and to see what is behind this answer.
Okay.
In my experience, I'm doing on a regular basis interviews, talking to clients, and sometimes it takes a good part of an hour for them to arrive to a point that it's not what they said in the first line. They start to think a little bit deeper and then I ask them, okay, so what do you mean by this? And they say, you have a problem. So what I suggest is I'm starting with a question. And I'll start the question um, asking you, why do you think that competition is important? And give it example from your life. Give it a clear example, a case that happened to you. You went into competition, succeeded, it didn't succeed. Why was it important? And it's open question to everybody who wants to join. Just raise your hand and start to talk. I don't think.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's really personal for me, Isaac,
Yeah.
because my competitor, which became very poignant for me at age 3, was my twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's still my competitor, but we started competing because my father thought the right thing to do was to have us wrestle to get, like better.
That's good.
Yeah, that fostered, I think the right word is hatred between us.
Oh.
And Dick was always better at wrestling. I learned how to box.
Mm-hmm.
So when we would get in a fight, which was all the time, he would immediately fall on his back. So I'd dive down and we'd wrestle. I learned not to wrestle with him. I just kick him in the butt and then get him up and then beat the hell out of him.
That's an interesting observation. I'm going to use it in a moment.
Good. I'll just finish it by saying for 40 years, we were each other's goalposts or measuring stick. And anytime I did better, that means the bar raised for him. And anytime he did better, the bar raised when we learned, because of that, to hate one another.
What
Um,
are you doing for business?
I'm a business coach and investor.
Oh,
And he's um, uh, uh, kind of was corporate America, last position, President Kohler engine division. Now he runs two hardware stores, but we now love one another. And because we
so where's the
finally figured,
competition? So
I'm
where's the
sorry.
competition? How you compare? You know, you
Oh
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
put.
Well, and the deal was real simple. We're both, I say this reservedly because it sounds so arrogant. We're both kind of top of our respective industries. And part of the reason for that is that we competed to get better always. And I see that with all my siblings. I've got six brothers and one sister. I see it with all my eight grandkids. So competition, I think, is incredibly healthy if it's done in an environment that doesn't foster hatred. That would be my observation.
Okay, that's great. That's great. A question that I have to ask: how do you when you have competition? There you have a winner and you have a loser sometimes. So you have one who has an upper hand, one has an is under. How do you measure who is better, who is considered a better position?
I
Yeah, because
think if
that means where's the measuring point?
a different form of competition, but I'm going to take a shot at answering your question, Isaac, is between myself and my wife of 44 years.
Mhm.
The
About
key,
myself.
I'm sorry?
It's about myself with my wife.
Yeah, right. Well, 44 years?
Yeah, we are going to
I'm sorry,
celebrate this year
44 exactly?
45th.
44
Yeah,
and
we are
a
going to
half for us.
celebrate 45th year, in June, in July.
Geez, well, you got us. No, we got you by a month. We were married in June. But
Oh.
the reason I say that is I think a great marriage, like great business, like great relationships, is more like a wrestling match than it is kind of a lovey-dovey thing. And
Hmm.
the key is at the end of a Notre Dame football game, at the end of every Notre Dame football game, the first song at the end of the game is the alma mater to Our Lady. And preceding that is both teams congratulating one another on a well-fought match. That's competition. So competition should push people to grow to more than they think they can be. And there should be a handshake, not a fight, at the end of a competition. And that's, in my estimation, how you grow. It just is more intimate between a husband and a wife.
Hmm.
So I'm dominating. I could get quiet.
Somebody wants to jump in, following this discussion. Following
Hi,
Bill, have
everyone.
another comment? Hi,
Hi, how are you, Isaac? Thank you for your
thank
question.
you.
I am Jacqueline from Go Global. I feel, adding to what has been said, competition always makes you want to become better, right? That's like the obvious that we know, you know, on how we feel regarding to
Mhm.
competitors. In our case, specifically for our industry, our competitors also become our partners. So,
What are you doing for business?
we help companies expand internationally. So we help them support advising them on which market they should enter. We take care all about, HR needs, employment, establishing everything related to when it comes to global expansion on international markets. So our competitors, a lot of the times we, look for us, or, we end up collaborating with them to support as a back end for their customers on the countries that they need, more support in, because they probably don't have a presence there, a legal entity there. So we're able to collaborate with our own competitors in our space, to allow them to provide a full service offering to their end client. So it's interesting, we see each other as competitors, and we always thrive and try to become better, but at the same time we also collaborate. So it's an interesting dynamic.
What would have happened if you didn't have competition?
I mean, I don't think it's healthy. I feel everyone needs competition. It's
Why?
a motivation that helps you be consistent on your goal to become the number one in your industry.
Mhm. But if you don't have competition, you become automatically number one.
Yes, but you have nothing to measure yourself against.
So measuring is
Your
important.
clients, measuring is important. Having options for customers is important on their end.
Why?
Because they have options to choose who they want to work with, and they have their own metrics on what is important for them when choosing a provider, a service provider, whether it's pricing, whether it's service, whether it's lead time, whatever it may be. They have options to decide who they want to work with. And the more competition, the more, I guess, the more, the better you become.
You mentioned here a very interesting point. You talk about the ability to choose, the ability to decide whom I'm going to work with, by whom I'm going to buy. Having a free choice according to my parameters. Can somebody else, for example, and I'm going to come back to you, can somebody else come with an example of choices that the clients are making by choosing a supplier, by choosing a help, by choosing, for example, like what Jacqueline has, the consultancy or aid? What kind of choices clients have?
May I say something?
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
thank you.
This actually resonates with a point about competition, but then again with the choice factor. By the way, my name is Connie, so nice to meet you. It's my first time in this group, in this particular agenda, so thank you for having me. Basically, it was a recent, I'd say, very competitive scenario for my small business. We specialize in all things graphic design, branding, you name it, in the creative field. So what has happened is we were requested for an RFQ with a big real estate developer, and they had asked for some credentials to see our portfolio and what experience we have. And of course, they shopped around for, I think there was 5 companies in the running at that time. And we were shortlisted down to the last 2. So it was us and another business alongside us. And then the final result happened that unfortunately they decided to go ahead with the other business. And I always want to know why. And I just from, to grow and learn and experience these things. And they had said the factor holding us back was that particular business specialized only in providing design services for real estate organizations. So they felt that because they were specialized and had a niche for real estate, the client felt that they were more inclined to go with them because they had more confidence in that business, which then to me, I kind of felt, well, if that kind of, yes, they do have a choice in that respect, because maybe somebody has a specialty in a certain industry or, skill set or what have you. But then at the same time, I always believe that, versatility should not hold a company or a person back, because obviously, with that being said, we don't only specialize in real estate brands, we specialize in other industries as well. But I always think that if you have enough I don't want to say the word proof, but let's say if you have substantial credentials as an individual or as a person, and you have enough to show for, everyone should be given an equal opportunity. So I think sometimes choice is a healthy thing, obviously, but then sometimes it can be a bit bittersweet, because then in that matter, it was a big blow to me, because as a business owner, because we were discussing this pitch for probably 6-7 weeks, and then to hear that as an answer at the end was like, oh, well, bummer that they had that kind of choice, you know? So I think it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it can be a good thing and sometimes a bad thing, you know, depending on the situation.
It's a bad thing because you lost the business over here. But what was the key learning points that you gained from this experience?
I think
How
as
did
a
you change
learning,
your
I mean,
how did you change your business to do better eventually in the next in the next opportunity based on the experience that you gained from I wouldn't call it failure. I would call it a learning experience.
yes, absolutely. I think basically I take the time needed to kind of tailor make our proposals. If so, for example, because as I mentioned, we work with a variety of industries. So let's say if a real estate organization were to approach me again in the future, or a certain industry, I would take the time to maybe show more relevant samples to that industry, and give key points or touch points to the potential prospect as to how we can help them better their brand or push their visual communication strategy or marketing strategy to another level, depending on what they're looking for. So I'd say I'm doing less generic proposals, if you want to say it that way, and more industry specific or tailor made. It takes more time, of course, and time is precious for all of us, but at the same time, if you target as an individual or a business a certain client or organization or what have you that you really want to partner up with, it's best to take that time to do these kind of things. So I think, yeah, it was a learning curve to just be a bit more diligent and patience when, rather than just pinging out a website or a company profile, kind of get to know that business a bit more and then put together something solid, to show them.
Let me point out to something that you just mentioned there, which is very important. You talked about that. Maybe I misunderstand that. That's why we have a recording of what we talked about. You kind of offered a generic offer that would
Yes.
be, and it wasn't tailor-made. Now you had you had two options to offer something tailor-made. You said, okay, I would offer something for the real estate industry, or could you dig deeper into the need of the client and what they really want, or you know how to dig deeper because people are emotional. All the decisions are emotional. People are even unaware of why they decide the way they decide. Because the reasons sometimes are even subconscious. They're not aware of it. And do you have a tool to look deeper and say, oh, that's the reason why they wanted it? So it wasn't the real estate, but it was their psyche, the emotion, the feeling, or who knows what.
Yeah, no, you're that's a very key point. I mean, before I come off the table here, I remember chemistry meetings, even before I had my business. There was one client, I remember they were like, we want to come and see you. We want to see where you work, who you are, what you do, before they decided to sign up with us. So it was a whole psychological and emotional factor. Absolutely, hands down, there is, and it's who you connect with, whether it's like, you have similar interests, or if even it's cultural, because I'm based in Dubai. I'm not far from you. And here it's very
Yeah.
multicultural. Yeah. So
Mhm.
there's obviously that factor too. Sometimes cultures want to work within the same culture, like Middle Easterners want to work with Middle Easterners, etc. or, you know, it's more a personality thing, like how if you both have similar interests. So there's so many factors, you know, and I always say I don't have a sales bone in me, but when you have like a small business, because I'm a creative person, of course, but when you have a small business, you have to be able to acquire other business, you know, that's the challenge. It's not easy, but you just have to keep going.
Okay, can somebody I think the point that we discussed here is in my opinion, is very important because from my past experience, if you want to benefit from competition, you should understand the client far better. You can't do generic. It can't be generic. If you have an operation that has to serve a wide range of clients, you can't have one solution fits all. So you have to understand the various niches in the market or various segments in the market, and you have to understand, in my opinion, what is behind the shield or the sign they put up front, because they won't tell you, not because they are bad people, but because I'm unaware of what makes them tick.
Mhm.
Do
Absolutely.
you have experience with such clients that you figured out, hey, that's what they wanted?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it depends on the situation, to be honest. Like, maybe I think once you start working with them, maybe that's kind of you get to know what they really want. But I think when it's more when you're prospecting, it's challenging to know what they really want, to be honest. Unless they take the time, maybe you have a one-on-one with them, you know, have a video call, a coffee or something. But just from
You
email
work.
exchange and LinkedIn, it doesn't
You,
do
you
justice.
expect to? Do you expect to make business based on email? Yeah,
No.
you know, I'm looking at my business. Okay, in the past, before I sold my previous business, I was in diamonds. I could sit very comfortably at my office because at the level that I was sitting there, I didn't have to travel. And I made it important for me. First of all, I visited my clients, where the retail outlets, the retail stores, standing there. And I even stood for several weeks, a year, behind the counters, speaking to their clients. To try to understand, try to have the feeling what happened, which was kind of unusual for people at my my peers, people in our industry. And I can't remember getting a client without talking face to face to him. What I'm doing here on a Zoom, it's better than an email, it's better than a website. But how can I offer a service to somebody that I can't see, can't discuss, can't ask questions?
Absolutely. Well, with prospecting, you kind of, it's like, you know, obviously attacking cold leads. And then if they're interested, I always say, I'd like to have an intro. Of course, I'm hands down, I agree with you. Like, hey, let's do business with texting or emails does not work at all, because obviously you need to get to know the person. So I'm always all for an introduction. And if anybody's actually interested, then we set up a one-to-one call, or, you know, if they're in the same country or city, you can go and meet them. But that's it. But it's getting to that point where they will entertain you, you know? So that's the challenge, like getting to the point where they're interested in having that meeting, or, you know, moving to the next step. Because there's, as you said, the whole competition factor, there is so much competition nowadays, especially, I mean, I don't know where you're located, but in the Middle East, in the GCC, the Gulf Corporation Council countries, there's an influx of skilled workers coming in. So then it's just
Everybody's coming in over there. Yeah,
Sorry?
I know flights from Israel to Dubai is fully booked.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have quite a few flights per week.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people coming in. So then you have to always pivot the business and keep up with everything. So Well, thank you.
I have to check with my nephew who was living there in Dubai for several years and enjoys it very much.
Okay. Yeah, I've been
I
here a
never been
while
there.
too.
I never been there.
It's not too far for you, like maybe what, 3
No,
hours,
3 hours
3.5
flight.
hours?
3 hours
Yeah,
flight.
it's not bad.
Now
Yeah.
with the Abraham Accord, you have a direct flight. Before you have to go over the way via Turkey or who knows where.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. I've heard
Uh-huh.
there's direct flights now. Things have changed so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Can
for your
somebody
advice.
can somebody chip in and give examples of how did you figure out deeper into what is behind the needs of your client? How do you figure out? How do you figure out it? What kind of questions would you ask? What would you like for? What would you look for? I'm sorry.
I'm going to jump in and then I'll jump out again. But I'm really speaking to Connie. But because Isaac, I think that's exactly the right question. And Connie, I would suggest the answer is not outside, but inside. Let me be very precise on what I mean. One of the companies that I'm a 30% owner and investor in is a company, specialty company in California, 1 Week Bath. We get 60 to 70% of our business is repeat and referral. How many clients have you worked for in the entirety of the length of time you've been in business?
Gosh, that's a good
Are you asking
question.
me?
No, Connie.
I mean, several, probably over 20 at least. And I have a lot that are
So-
repeat and loyal clients as well.
Yeah, so the point I'm making here is real simple. By the way, we'll be at 100% repeat and referral this time next year because it's considerably more profitable. It's considerably faster. And now we're a custom remodeling of bath and kitchens. That's what we do. But like
Okay.
all business, even more so with professional service, it's all about trust. That's the only thing that
Yeah.
matters. As soon
Trust
as
and
you have trust,
accountability.
you and part of the point is you're looking to promote your business and find leads. And boy, that's just a huge waste of time.
It's
that's
tough.
a
Oh, it's
huge-
absolutely tough.
But you're continuing to do it,
Mhm.
right? You're continuing to do it. The reason I think Isaac's question is exactly the right question is if you ask customers earnestly, past customers,
Okay.
one question and one question only. It's sort of like Net Promoter Score, but that's kind of useless, meaning, just kind of rate you. Ask them what they valued in what you did. Just
Okay.
that, and do it in the aura, or set it up as we're always looking to improve. So we have one question. What did you value? Because that's going to point us to what we want to improve. You will find, if you do that you will get more repeat and referral business. It will just happen. Plus, you'll find out what people value.
Yeah, true.
Mistake that forgive me, this sounds presumptuous, so I don't mean it. I mean it from a servant standpoint, right? Not from a professor arrogance. In your particular case, you didn't like that customer. You didn't like the outcome, right? Because you didn't get the job.
Yeah, true.
The customer, they used to say the customer is always right. My dad used to say the market is right. But you're playing a lousy game. You're playing a game that doesn't build on your greatest strength, which is your current relationships. So I would suggest that you stop playing that game. You're wasting a lot of time and energy, and no doubt your organization, and play from a position of strength. Because when you're speaking with past customers, it's an unfair advantage. They know you.
Yeah.
So you have a competitive advantage.
Yep.
Okay.
What's already been in the door, exactly.
Right. And by the way, if they won't talk to you, that means you didn't do very good work. Okay. But if you do it from a position of, I'm looking to improve serving you and folks like you. By the way, if you stick in a second question, it's a dangerous second question.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question is, how can I be more valuable to you? And by the way, don't stop at the first response. Well, everything was always on time and you had great ideas. Okay, well, I understand IT on time. What do you mean by great ideas? And they say one thing or another, and they say, besides, the quality of your work is really great. And you say, that's really great. But when you say quality, what do you mean? Did you
Okay,
ever?
so you're trying to get more specific information or relevant examples out of them in that case?
Yeah, but you're doing active listening by I'm gonna do it, I'll do it with me. When I've learned this trait, I'm not good at it. I'm a speaker, not a very good listener. So I have to discipline myself to listen. That's why we literally came up with a script on this. When I was first dating my wife, by the way, we dated for 5 years and now we're married 44, just a month over the length of time that Isaac has been married. Do you think that it helped when I asked Joy, hey, did you enjoy dinner last night? What in particular did you enjoy? Where else do you think we could go to do that kind of stuff? Do you see how the relationship builds?
Yeah. I see where you're coming from.
It's exactly the same. If there's an Inc. article we wrote on this, if you'd like it, send me an email, I'll send you the email. And by the way, the title of the article, I think you'll find funny. What are your customers thinking right now? You'll never know if you don't ask them.
Well, that's true. We can't read minds. Yeah,
exactly. But
hands down.
You're not even reading minds. You're just broadcasting.
Yeah.
I mean, and so forgive me for being really abrupt on that, but that's
no, I appreciate it. I think I need this kind of matter of fact advice because you're absolutely right. I've spent a lot of hours. I don't even want to know how many hours and days on LinkedIn prospecting, doing a bit of research online. Who's the managing director, this and that. And you'd be surprised. I do actually get some response, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Exactly. It's a waste of
we'll be
time.
in touch.
Cesar and I have a relationship of trust. Didn't happen right away.
Yeah.
But now, I actually know the name of his son. And he knows
does he have
my 2 grandsons.
Does he have a son?
It takes time, but you're building relationships. That's what it is.
Bingo. And now this is the key. And you have to really, either this is on or off. You got to decide this personally, and it's your decision. You care more about your customers than you do you. Don't answer that question. Just think about it. As soon as you get to the point. Yeah, I'm sorry, right?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
No, I appreciate this advice. Like, I think I opened a big can of worms in this call, but no, it's pretty valuable advice.
Bill,
it makes a lot of sense.
Bill, I would develop on you, and we have to remember there's one key question that we have to keep on asking. The question is why, always. Ask, if you say something, why is it important for you? And I made my whole PhD based on this one question. My children knew already my protocol when I interviewed people. And because of this question repeated again and again and again, and actually what happened is that you move from this particular, you talked about real estate, you move away from the real estate industry into their deeper world, I would call it. Why is it important for you? Why is it important for you that I'll have an experience with real estate and that your supplier would have an experience in real estate? And when they explain it, do what Bill did. Start to ask. Don't take the answer for granted. Now, I would like to develop a little bit on competition and the 2 points I would like to say. You go to the market, to the market, to the fruit and vegetables, and to the open market that we have over here, and you want to buy apples, and as it happens, is the market here is not that large, and my feeling is that everybody, all those stores there, get their apples from the same supplier, the same apples, and the same and the same price. Everything is the same. And still, when you watch carefully and you ask people, where do you go? Are you going to buy your apples? I saw that you bought apples. What did you buy? And I'll tell you, I'll buy in this outlet, in this store. Then you ask him why? Because somebody will start at the beginning, where enter the market, take the first store. Somebody goes deeper to the last one. Somebody goes to the side, and they keep on going to the same place again and again and again. And you ask why? There's a reason. They're not unaware of it, but there's always a reason. Like Bill say, he knows that. I didn't know that Cesar has children, but Bill knows them. He knows the names. There's something that happened over there. And he says, okay, when everything is equal, why not going to Cesar? When today I had somebody who is doing something similar to what, but what Doug and Cesar are doing. And I said, no, Cesar, and if I want to go, to do something in this style, meeting with people, doing a webinar and everything, I'd rather give a call. That's what I did. Give a call to Doug and to Cesar, and for the little money that they took, and must say, for the little money that they took, I've got fantastic results. I'm happy. What will come out of it? Is my banker going to be happy? I don't know. This is my job. But at least they delivered. So they built themselves. And I know Doug and Bill, Doug and Cesar before the COVID pandemic, because we had a group here in Tel Aviv, and the group stopped because of the pandemic, and somebody fell apart. Somehow it fell apart. This is one point that I wanted to raise. The second point that I wanted to raise is when people say, I ask them, so what do your client want? And they go like this, I don't know. It's very simple. You have clients. I'm talking about established businesses. You have already clients. So ask them, why did they come to you? Figure out what did they find in you? You didn't start your business yesterday. You have already your clients, and they are happy. So some of them are happy, some of them left you because they are unhappy. So you can call them all this. Those who are happy, ask them, why? What did you find in me? I don't know. And this is your strength, because you ask 5, 6 people and you receive the same answer, then you know that this answer is valid. And if you are brave and you ask people, okay, that's fine, you didn't want to work with me, it's fine, I understand, I respect it, but why? Nothing bad about our relationship. There is a reason why you rejected me. And just tell me why, because I would like to learn. I'm not going to bend your decision. I'm not going to try to overrule your decision. But I would like to know why you did what you did. You need the guts to do something because some people will just throw you through the closed door, not the open door, but through the closed door. They are going to throw you out. So and when I'm doing work with the startups, and here Israel is the nation of startup. It's second to the United States with number of startups. And people come with dreams, and people comes with idea, and I ask them, what is this? Oh, nobody has it. So I ask them, okay, if nobody has it, and you also don't have your development because you're asking now to invest, and in a few years' time, you'll have your product. So what do people doing today? And then they start to figure out what they are doing, what they are doing. And that actually what they are doing, what they want to do, already exists, maybe in an awkward way, but it already exists. So go and ask the clients there. Go to ask the people who are using this solution. Are they happy? What is the shortcoming of the existing solution? And all of a sudden you start to discover how your future clients are going to look like, because you are going to answer to their needs, to the true needs where they come with. They say, okay, we have now a product, but it's a kind of an awkward product because A, B, and C. And say, oh, this I can deliver, no problem. If I deliver to you, are you going to buy it? And they'll buy it. People talk about the innovative mood of Steve Jobs, who is one of my favorites. I don't think he invented anything new in his entire career. Where do I have it? The iPhone. If you look up, uh, the how he first presented the idea of iPhone, he presented it to his to people. And I don't remember what he put together. I think he put together the phone, he put together the camera, and he put together the email, and said before you have to do have your own camera and your own phone, and then you had needed a computer for email. Now I put it all in one. That's all what he did. All you want, what you have to do, and actually next week I'm going to travel, and this is my office. And I know that I'm going barefoot. All the shoemakers are walking barefoot. So all my family has laptop. I don't have. I have only this computer, and this computer is kind of old. Yeah, they have they have laptop, and I thought about taking one laptop when I travel. And then my son told me, "You don't need really a laptop, but I give you the iPad, smaller, lighter, and you'll have what you need." And I figured out, and if I'm lucky, I figured out that I don't need even the iPad. I have everything here on this if I need computer power. So ask people if people what do people do? What do people do? What they are looking for? One question that you should ask yourself: what if your business is closed? What will people do? What are they going to miss? What are they going to lose? You have a certain presence on the market. You have clients. They enjoyed it. So you have a certain presence. And if you are leaving, what would people lose? Who's going to replace you? This is your competition. So that's what kind of in this discussion, and I don't like. That's why I don't like lecture, because everybody comes in with their own idea. Even though I managed to talk to only 3 of you, the rest. Okay, Elizabeth said hello in the beginning of the session. The rest I don't know. I have a question to you. I don't know what come out of the free discussion. What kind of one idea that you picked up from this free discussion that you can apply into your business? Can you come up with an idea? And I have a whole list of people who are present. So show yourself and come with an idea that you picked up in this discussion.
Ask why. Go do the deep dive.
Oh, it's unbelievably strong question. Learn how to ask why. Takes time to practice, but start today. I don't know what you're doing for business. I don't remember. Did you explain what you're doing for business?
I actually work with US manufacturers to help them position so they can sell more of their products in the global markets. I help them on the operations side to negotiate the trade transactions. And I will share with you that, from a competitive standpoint, I work for a small company, and we basically nearly tripled their business in 2 years because we were able to respond to their needs. And that's huge. That's huge.
That's huge. How was profitability?
They were profitable. It was a private company, so I didn't have I know it was very profitable. I didn't have access to the numbers, but I know for a fact that we nearly tripled it because this was a few years ago, but I manually documented the information and tabulated it, and it's amazing. But what it makes me realize, small companies in today's competitive environment, to your point, they have a strong competitive advantage if they do their business well and they are responsive to those clients, because it's all about the relationship. It's about the trust, and that's very powerful.
Just one. I'm sorry,
yes.
Isaac, if I could, just one quick point. Elizabeth,
Yes.
You got this long before. I mean, you knew this long before you joined this meeting. And brilliant the way you talked about how you put that to work. Something I would suggest that might be worthwhile is not knowing the profitability limits your ability to understand who your companies were well designed to serve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you want to find out the why, but you want to differentially spend time with customers that are more profitable, because chances are you're more valuable to them. So not knowing that is something would be worthwhile discussing.
And I will share, just to share, when we used to go to trade shows, they represented, there were only 5 manufacturers, 1 in Germany, 2 in Japan, and 2 in the US. All of them knew the owners' names on a first name basis. And for a small company, that's huge.
I can, especially to what Bill just mentioned, Bill's advice, I can just share with you from my experience. I was in diamonds, and the diamonds, the entry, there's no entry barrier, no exit barrier, which means I can go to a shop, I can go to a store, offer them a diamond, knowing that the Indian guy could be that he came before me. I could offer them a diamond that they could buy and sell at a higher with profit at a lower price at what I am asking them. That means he could make already profit on what he bought by the Indian guy, and still couldn't pay me my price, and still I managed to sell 20, 30% above the market price. And when you are looking for profitable clients, look for potentially profitable clients. I spend time with them. Actually, what I'm doing now and helping companies to become profitable, then I didn't help companies to become profitable because my profit was in my ability to sell my product at a higher price. Now they have to pay me a fee for my work. They have to pay me a retainer, pay me for the training and so on. Then it was just calculated in my product, and still I had a very nice business doing profit. And I must admit, with Bill, I had my stubborn clients. It took me once or twice, one meeting, two meetings, or one session, two sessions, or one sale, to realize that it's a waste of time with them. They won't pay, and they want to pay their price, and they will keep arguing and ask for discount, and you can't convince them. You can't change anything with them. Leave them. There are enough good clients in the world. Anybody else who got hopefully have learned something from this session? Think about think differently because of this 1 hour. I see people, but I don't see them react. Should I invite people? I hate doing this. Tino, any idea?
No,
Just picked you up because you're on my screen.
no problem, no problem. I agree with you. I think we don't do enough referrals, and I'm actually in the planning stage for 2025, and I've just put a note: referrals, big question mark, meaning we need to do it more. We're a 15-year-old company. We keep wanting to grow, but we need to grow with our own customers. So I
What
think
are you doing for business?
we are in the language industry, so we help customers with their translation, interpretation, voiceover, everything that's language related.
Now, how can you increase the profitability of this business? I'm not talking about having more clients. I'm talking about having a better profitability.
We need to streamline our processes with AI. We need to use more AI. Right now, we're using
You are developing internally your operations to be better, more efficient. You're working on efficiency. How can you charge more from your clients?
charge more. I don't think we can charge more because customers are
Did you
asking.
try? Did you try? Did you figure out what they're after and offer them? I can share with you, if you go now on my website. I just overhauled it. There's one course that I offer to clients. It's quite difficult because it has to be in person and it has to be in group. So creating it's a headache. I used to do it. I enjoyed it very much, but people like you that say I can't raise prices, and all of a sudden they realized that I could raise prices on there by 2,000%.
I would love to go.
It is one day course, one experience. They enjoyed it very much. Not that I could do, they learned how to do it. Now, how you apply it in your business, I doubt if they are people. If, for example, if you are selling a car for $100,000, you can't increase it by 2,000 times. Sell it for $20 million or $200 million, the same car. But if you could sell the car for $100,000 for another $10,000 or $20,000, which is more reasonable, but you have to know how to do it. So this is one of the courses that that I enjoy doing it. I really enjoy doing it. And the point is that it's the same thing here. Instead of giving you a lecture, I'll let you talk. There, I do the session. I'm surprising people and say, you can do the same. And nobody tells me I can't do it. They enjoy that they start to build up their own group. That, you know, they go to a party and, you know, it's an icebreaker. I can show you something, and they tell me later on, oh, that was great. But by experiencing, they start to realize that there are ways to look into how to raise prices. That's what competition does. If your competitor sell his product for X, you have already a benchmark. Okay, you can't double maybe, can't triple, but you can raise prices by 10, 15, 20% if you know how.
Before you leave that though, did I pronounce your name correctly? It's Tino? Right. Tino, there is a danger that I want you to be thinking about in going heavy on referrals. You need to start by being sincerely speaking with your customers, existing customers, about how you can better serve them. Here's the trap. By any chance, are you married?
Unfortunately not.
Be careful. I think doing the research on that is probably a pretty good idea, Tina. So don't be rushing into that. There's a reason they say marry in haste, repent at leisure. So the reason I was asking that, well, we'll just do it generically. I'll do it personally. When I first dated my wife, the first time we met, okay, we certainly didn't have a commitment to one another per se. But let's say on part of that date, I asked her, by the way, I'd like to meet other smart, attractive women. Do you have any ideas for me? How do you think she would have responded to that?
Not very good.
Right. So the point I'm making is calling up your past customers and saying, hey, I want to build my business. So do you have any referrals for me? Extraordinarily bad idea. Because it's not about serving them, it's about serving you.
Mm-hmm.
And they will know it, and you will lose business with them. Alternatively, if you ask them fundamentally, how can I serve you better? I put in the chat the Inc. article that kind of elaborates on that, right? Which is to say, what do you value and how can I improve on that? You won't have to ask for referrals. They will come. Not right away, not in the first email, but they will come because you will set yourself apart from everybody else that they deal with. So don't ask for referrals unless you really have a strong relationship. And even then you say, by the way, if you know someone else that would value the same kinds of things you value in us, you know, we'd love to speak with them. But be very careful about asking for referrals. So that's why I wanted to jump in.
Bill, with actually what you said now is this was my closing note. I started with saying that I'm not going to lecture you, and one of the good reasons why I'm not going to lecture you. You know, I hate educating people. I think people are educated. People are knowledgeable. You just sometimes are unaware. There's kind of knowledge. It's a kind of piece of knowledge that just disappeared from the horizon. Just didn't realize that they have it. Or sometimes they think, oh, I know everything, and didn't think that there's a missing part in their knowledge that they can figure out. But that's it. People are intelligent. Period. And so I said, okay, start talking and let me ask you kind of questions. I don't know if you enjoyed it or not. The question is, if I'm going to do these webinars again and again and again, how can I improve? How can I be of a better service for you? If you don't have time, send me an email. Send me a message. and tell me how to improve this kind of webinar. I took away an hour from your time. That makes this hour most valuable. And if somebody would like to comment now, you're most welcome. If not, please send me an email. It's in the chat. Send me a message, please. I really appreciate
I don't
it.
mean to steal your clothes, Isaac, and it's been a pleasure meeting with you. I truly hope we have a chance to speak more. I think there's a lot of things we hold in common. I just simply wanted to mention that what Isaac is speaking about is the reason I find Global Chamber invaluable. Because it's not about companies, it's about individuals and connecting with individuals and how I can better serve them and how frankly they can better serve me. But it's that's the magic in my mind of Global Chamber, and Cesar and Doug, I think you're doing magnificent, important work.
Size-wise, most of the participants in Global Chamber are from relatively smaller companies. Although it's not, that's the people I met. It doesn't mean that this what make the majority of the people. But I can tell you that even talking to the largest company possible, always find the person to talk to. I never made a business with lawyers that came with me with a contract. I sent them away. I want to talk to the decision maker, and I talk to him about business. It's much better. Be human. You are talking to human. Don't rely on AI. Rely on your human intelligence. So, how can I do better? That's my question to you. I think everybody is shocked. So, I'll say to you good night or good day, or I don't know what time is by you. Please send me an email and ask me and help me to improve. Let's help others also. Let's hope that the next webinar will be even better.
Isaac, I already have, and thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to send you an email. Yeah. You dominated everything here. You have to suffer. You have to work.
I don't take that as a threat. I take it as a promise.
Oh, it's like your brother. You competed, you beat him, but yeah, still there's no hatred. All the best. Have a good night. And
thank you very much, Isaac. Let's follow up on further opportunities.
So you are staying with me?
That's me, Cesar.
Yeah, I know. I see your face.
Bye.
So let's get some feedback from you. The bandwidth,
yes, no, it was a great session. We will, yeah, my bandwidth. Let me just shut off my video. It was a great session, and we will follow up with the attendees and see if we can have some sort of follow-up event or any further opportunities from you. But it was great. Thank you.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I think the idea of these webinars is a